Hello and welcome to Computology Academy, and today we are going to discuss that the disintegration of Pakistan is inevitable and probably Pakistan will disintegrate into five different nation states. And why it is so, we will discuss this because this has happened earlier also with Pakistan, and all the ingredients are conducive for Pakistan to go through the same situation again. So here as we see that Pakistan is probably going to disintegrate into five regions. Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, POK will come to India as I have mentioned over here. Baluchistan will become a different separate state. Thereafter Punjab and Sindh. And why it is so, let us start and discuss the whole thing. And before that we will start the discussion. Go on to subscribe the channel and press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload such interesting videos. So let us start with the discussion. So first of all, the illegal occupation of some of the regions that was done by Pakistan in the history, in the past, is going to be one of the major ingredient for this disintegration of Pakistan. And why it is so? If we start right from the time of independence, then during that period what was happening, the British Indian government, before leaving India, they had prepared a plan for the partition of India, and during that period there were many princely states in India as well as Pakistan. At that very time it was British India only, but after partition, what was about to become India and Pakistan, those regions were having many princely states, and there was an option with the princely states to go with Pakistan or to go with India or to remain independent. And geographical contiguity and geographical logic was also one of the factor which was governing the princely states to go with which of the nation, which of the forthcoming nation. But what happened? Baluchistan at that very time was not the part of British India completely. The Baluchistan was divided into two different parts. One part was being ruled by the king of the region, that was in local term known as Shahi Jirga. What was the name of that? That was known as Shahi Jirga, right? And some part of Baluchistan was in lease with the British Indian government, and those were Kalat, Quetta, Narsinhabad, Tahsil and Nausakhia and Bolan agency. So Nasirabad etc. were under the commissionary rule of the British official, that were under the rule of the British Indian government. But at the time of independence, what happened? Muhammad Ali Jinnah and the Muslim League conspired in such a way to usurp the power of Shahi Jirga and to assimilate Baluchistan in Pakistan. And during that period what was happening, Shahi Jirga was claiming that the lease was with the British rulers and not with the upcoming Pakistan. And for that matter, as the British rule will cease in India, there will be no lease for anybody else, because the lease is non-transferable and no one else can get the authority to rule the region, the Baluchistan region. So they said that the lease will cease to exist, and thereafter, after the independence of India, Baluchistan will become a separate nation. And some part of Baluchistan was falling in the region of present day Iran also. and some part was falling in present day Afghanistan also. So that was the complete map of Balochistan at that very time, which was opposing any of the external power to usurp the power to assimilate their region in their own region. And for that matter, Jinnah and Muslim League manipulated the Jirga itself, and they claimed that the voting rights does not exist with the Shahi Jirga, the representative of Shahi Jirga, because they do not represent the popular mandate. And for that matter, those representatives who are representing the commissionariats of Balochistan region, like that of Kalat, Quetta, Nasirabad, Nausiki and Bolan, etc., they will only vote for the instrument of accession, whether to accept it or whether to reject it, and accordingly the decision will be made. And through this, what happened? The instrument of accession was passed by the council through this manipulation, and on March 1948, the instrument of accession was signed by the Khan of Shahi Jirga, Khan of Kalat. Right. And because of that, what happened? Balochistan through manipulation became a part of Pakistan. However, in July 1948, the brother of Khan of Kalat, Abdul Karim, Prince Abdul Karim, he did not accept the passage of instrument of accession and he revolted. And for that matter, since then the revolt is going on, since then the atrocities are going on in Balochistan, and Balochistani people had never accepted Pakistan as the country, as their nation state. And because of that, since then they are trying to secede from Pakistan, but with the use of power, with the use of armed forces, like Pakistan is doing the atrocities in that region, usurping the mineral resources. Various things are going on. Many of the leaders go on vanishing in the air like nothing, and all those kind of things are going on. Next issue comes with the Pakistan occupied Kashmir, and most of you know what was the situation, what was the history, how did it become the part of Pakistan, that is illegal occupation. And here what happened, on 21st of October 1948, several thousands of Pashtun tribesmen, Pashtun Kabilis, entered into Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir through the northwest frontier region. And these Pashtun tribesmen were the people who were being backed by the armed forces of Pakistan, and some of these armed forces were backing also those people who were the veterans of the Second World War, who were living in that particular region, and they entered Jammu and Kashmir, and within a short span of time they captured the towns like Muzaffarabad and Baramulla. So Muzaffarabad and Baramulla was captured by these tribesmen, and they were just 20 miles northwest of the capital city, that was Srinagar. And at this very time, what happened? The Raja Hari Singh became impatient. And why it was so? Because again here Pakistan, or Muhammad Ali Jinnah you can say, had done the manipulation. What he did, during the unification of India or Pakistan at the time of independence, most of the kings or the rulers or the princely states were in dilemma what to do, and they were like contemplating what we should go on to do, what should be our future course, what should be our political position, like that. So to take some time to make their decision, Raja Hari Singh signed an stand-still agreement with Pakistan and India, although India was not in favor of signing this stand-still agreement. But what happened? Raja Hari Singh sent both the nations, leaders of both the nations like Pakistan and India. the standstill agreement. And here again Jinnah signed the standstill agreement straight away, that till the time Raja Hari Singh makes up his mind what to do, there will be no further action. And the same standstill agreement was sent to India also, and under pressure, because Muhammad Ali Jinnah had signed that standstill agreement, so there was no choice with India also to refuse it or to negotiate it or whatever it is, so they also had to sign. But there is a catch, that Indian leaders are the man of their words. So what they did, they respected the standstill agreement. But this was not the situation with Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Muhammad Ali Jinnah signed the standstill agreement. However, they sent the Pashtun tribesmen backed by the Pakistani army, and in disguise they entered Jammu and Kashmir. And when Jammu and Kashmir was about to fall on 26th of October 1948, Maharaja Hari Singh was impatient, so he asked for help from India. So Indian leaders straight away said that we don't have any locus standi to interfere in your matters until and unless you sign the instrument of accession. We are having no right for that matter. So the instrument of accession was signed on 26th of October 1948, and in this instrument of accession explicitly defense, external affairs and communication, these three powers were handed over to Government of India by Raja Hari Singh, and rest of the things will be negotiated in future till the time we should look after the safety and security of Jammu and Kashmir. That was the thing. So here what happened after this incident, after the signing of the instrument of accession by Raja Hari Singh, Indian army was airlifted to Srinagar, and thereafter they pushed back the Qabilis and the Pakistani army. And as the Indian action started, then the Pakistani army came to foray. Subsequently, Pakistani army intervened that the instrument of accession is illegal, and the Indian army is doing the illegal activity because there was an standstill agreement. They were saying that the instrument of accession is null and void, all those kind of things. Various things were being told about by them. But here what happened? The India-Pakistan War of 1948 occurred at this juncture, right? And after this what happened? India approached the United Nations. The biggest mistake, they should have pushed back the whole Pakistani army first, and thereafter they should have approached any of the organization or whatever it is. But in a haste, India approached United Nations, and thereafter what happened, everybody knows that the ceasefire agreement was signed, the ceasefire resolution was signed. Thereafter it was passed by the United Nations that there should be a plebiscite in Jammu and Kashmir to decide with which nation Jammu and Kashmir people wants to go. And for that matter, two resolutions were passed. One resolution was resolution number 47, and one resolution was resolution number 80. And in these two resolutions it was specifically mentioned that first of all the Pakistani army should withdraw from POK. Indian army should also withdraw substantially. Only a few of the Indian armed forces people should be there to maintain the law and order and the other things. But there was a clear-cut mention that the Pakistani army have to withdraw completely, which was never done by Pakistan. And for that matter, never the Indian army substantially withdrew, never the plebiscite occurred. And now after a time of 75 years or more, there is nothing like that scenario that was at that very time, and there is no justification that the Indian army should withdraw. POK is part of India. Instrument of accession was signed by Raja Hari Singh in favor of India, and POK will very soon become the part of India. Next thing is that why Pakistan is going to disintegrate into different pieces because two provinces of in Pakistan are in illegal occupation, as we know, that is Balochistan and POK, that is of India. So these two are fighting for their independence since long time ago. Thereafter, what is happening? Sindhis are also not getting their due chunk of portion, the authority in the government, the participation in other things. And the only thing is that Punjabis in Pakistan are dominating the government services, the armed forces, the resources, everything, right? And because of that, there is discontent among the other regions people, and in that again Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, KPK is also there. And one more thing is that the ethnicity and the other things are also different of the different regions. Here the Baluchs are there, here the Afghan Pathans are there, here Punjabis are there, Sindhis are there, here the Baltis and the Kashmiri people are there. And because of that, again there is disparity in the thought process, and that is again becoming more pronounced because of the dominance of the Punjabis in the politics of Pakistan, right? So here three major things are there because of which Pakistan had disintegrated earlier in 1971 when Bangladesh became a separate state and independent nation, right? And here Bangladeshis were also facing the same thing: political instability, economic crisis, overlooking the regional aspirations, and all these things we will discuss in detail. And for that matter, what happened? One of the major reason, the flashpoint, was the political instability, because when in 1970 there were general elections in Pakistan, and in that the Mujibur Rahman group, the political party headed by Mujibur Rahman in East Pakistan, at that very time the Bangladesh was East Pakistan, won majority of seats. But the again Punjabis of Pakistan were not in favor to let the Mujibur Rahman become the PM of Pakistan, and because of that there was tug of war, there was violence in East Pakistan, the armed forces were sent, and various other things happened, right? And because of that, what happened? Ultimately the war of 1971 and Bangladesh became a separate state. So that was one of the reason. If we go on to discuss in detail the political instability in Pakistan, its history, its instances, then you come to know that no prime minister in Pakistan has served his full term, 5-year term. आज तक कोई पाकिस्तानी पीएम पूरे 5 साल तक पीएम रहा ही नहीं है, हमेशा से देखते आ रहे हैं। यहाँ पर देखिए कि पीएम 10-10 साल रह जाते हैं, 15-15 साल रह जाते हैं, ठीक है। इट डिपेंड्स ऑन द मेजोरिटी दैट इज प्रूव्ड ऑन द फ्लोर ऑफ द हाउस। लेकिन पाकिस्तान में क्या होता है? मेजोरिटी एंड कोऑर्डिनेशन विथ द आर्म्ड फोर्सेस, राइट। तो ये पाकिस्तान की विडंबना है। सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल कू वाज देयर बिफोर आर्मी कू। द स्टार्ट ऑफ पॉलिटिकल इंस्टेबिलिटी वाज बाय द गवर्नर जनरल ऑफ पाकिस्तान हिमसेल्फ in 1953-54. What happened? The Governor General Ghulam Muhammad dismissed the government who was having the majority in the Constituent Assembly at that very time. He was the PM at that very time, but he dismissed the government of Prime Minister Khwaja Nizamuddin, and thereafter Khwaja Najimuddin was, वहाँ पर सीधा सा फंडा है कि whoever the PM has been dismissed, he should leave the country, otherwise everybody knows that what will happen to him, right? So he was dismissed. So this was the first instance when the political instability started in Pakistan, and thereafter military rules. 3 military rules has already been witnessed by Pakistan, and very soon you may see more military rules because the situations are quite conducive in Pakistan. पाकिस्तान की हालत अभी ये दुर्गति हो गई है कि कंपनी बेच रहे, सब कुछ बेच रहे, एंड नाउ दे आर ट्राइंग टू पैसिफाई द पीओके पीपल थ्रू मनी. 13 अरब रुपए का फंड उन लोगों ने जारी किया है. सो हियर फर्स्ट मिलिट्री रूल वाज देयर इन पाकिस्तान इन 1958 to 1971. Here what happened? Iskandar Mirza was Governor General at that very time. So with the help of General Ayub Khan, he dismissed. Iskandar Mirza dismissed Prime Minister at that very time. That was Firoz Khan Noon. But what happened? Within 13 to 14 days, the aspirations of the Army General Ayub Khan reached to its height, and he said that if Iskandar Mirza can become the PM or the authoritative ruler with the help of the armed forces, then why not the Army General? So General Ayub Khan became the ruler himself, army dictator, and he ruled till 1971. Then again what happened? In 1977 to 1988, there was again a military coup, and that was by General Zia-ul Haq. So here again what happened? There were various reasons because of which the PM at that very time, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, was dismissed and deposed by, and even arrested, and he was hanged by General Ayub Khan. Although General Ayub Khan was appointed as a general by Zulfikar Ali Bhutto himself, he was third in the hierarchy in the armed forces of Pakistan at that very time, and two senior lead armed forces officials were overlooked by Zulfikar Ali Bhutto because he was very close to Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. Zulfikar Ali Bhutto used to call him my monkey, and this was named as Operation Fair Play, that हम लोग अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं, सरकार जो है सो गड़बड़ चल रही है. Enlightened despotism, right? And through this what happened? Prime Minister Zulfikar Ali Bhutto was arrested, he was sent to jail, he was thereafter tried in the court of law, and thereafter previously he was hanged, and thereafter Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, Zia-ul Haq became the PM or the military ruler, military dictator of Pakistan. Next what happened in 1999 to 2008, again there was Kargil war, and again you will see after the wars there are military coups in Pakistan. This was because of the loss of, this second one was due to the loss of Indo-Pakistan war in 1971 when Bangladesh came into existence. So here already the people were not in favor of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, the time was opportune, and before this also there was an attempt to do the military coup, but that had failed. But in 1977, Zia-ul Haq successfully dismissed the then PM, that is Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. So again, General Parvez Musharraf, under his leadership, Pakistan lost the Kargil war with India, and again he came to know that Nawaz Sharif is going to dismiss him, remove him as the army chief, and he is going to appoint someone else as the new army chief. So before Nawaz Sharif would have removed the General Parvez Musharraf, Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif was removed by General Parvez Musharraf himself. बोले तुम हमको हटाओगे, हम तुम्ही को निपटा देते हैं. So that was the situation, and here General Parvez Musharraf became the army dictator until 2008. He remained the army dictator when the next general election had been conducted, and thereafter everybody knows what is going on in Pakistan, right? But again here one more catch is that what I was talking about, the dominance of Punjabis in Pakistan. So again here, in all the military coups who were involved, the Rawalpindi corps of the army, Rawalpindi is in Pakistani Punjab. So Punjabis were dominating the whole scenario, and they were involved in all the military takeovers and martial laws that has been imposed in Pakistan. And these were the three successful military coups. Apart from that, there were attempts in 1951, 1973, 80, 84, 95. So 5 failed attempts were also there. So you can understand what is the political situation of Pakistan. So that is the thing. And if we talk about the economic crisis, then till 1970s, early 70s, the currency of Pakistan was better than currency of India. They were having more purchasing power and their value was good. But after this, after the political instability was going on, war was going on, though no such attempts were made to make the economy much better and the other things were going on. So for that matter, what happened? Economic crisis was bound to occur. And if you come to know that Pakistan is the nation which has taken the IMF loan for the highest number of times. 22 times Pakistan has taken the loan from the IMF, and it is unpredictable and dependent economy. Unpredictable means that what will happen in its economy nobody knows. Today the inflation will be 20%, in the next month the inflation will be 38%. So such kind of things goes on because it depends on the imports. Even simple medicine is not being manufactured in Pakistan. All the things are imported, no machinery, no production, no industries, nothing. And that is why this situation is there in Pakistan, because they are dependent on imports rather than manufacturing the goods. And because of this dependence on imports, their economy is unpredictable because they move in any direction depending on the shocks on the import. If the international prices increase, the prices will soar up in Pakistan because they don't manufacture anything. They are dependent on everything for import, right? So here ever increasing external debt is there. So till date it has crossed $100 billion, right? $100 billion is already crossed for Pakistan as debt. Forex reserve is dwindling. If we go on to talk about the forex reserve, the present scenario, then it is around $11 to $12 billion. And that also the maximum amount of forex reserve is with the scheduled commercial banks. As a repatriation, Pakistan had received last year around $2.8 billion. Major part is that. Thereafter, some of the loan was given by Saudi Arabia, but they cannot spend it. So such kind of situation is there. Internal debt is also increasing, and this internal debt is increasing faster than the external debt. Internal debt is soaring up much faster than the external debt. That is the situation in Pakistan. And inflation is very high. Till the last event, as per the information, 38% is the inflation rate in Pakistan. This is the situation of Pakistani economy. And if there is any economic crisis, then the first thing happens what? There will be suffering for the people. But again, if this suffering is imbalanced, it is being overlooked, regional aspirations are not being taken care of, right? So here again what will happen? There will be revolts, rebellions, separatist tendencies, right? So there is dominance of the Punjabis, betterment of the Punjabis is being taken care of only, and the other regions are being overlooked. A bulk of the soldiers, that is 65%, were drawn from the Punjab region only, followed by Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and that was 15%, and this is the data of 2011, around 2011, and this was published in their own newspaper, The Dawn. And if we talk about the data of 2001, then during this period 71% of the armed forces personnel were being drawn from the Punjab region. So gradually their number has decreased, but still they are more than half, more than 50%, that is 65%, and that is why you witnessed all the military coups were from Rawalpindi, the Punjab Corps. Thereafter the Punjabi dominance is there. And if we talk about the government jobs, then approximately 60% of the Pakistan's federal government employees come from Punjab, central government employees. Like we talk about IAS, IPS, IFAs, or the secretariat level people like that of the SSC level, CBI, ED, whatever it is. So the federal jobs are being dominated by the Punjabis. This is again one of the reason of discontent among the other peoples, right? So here this is major factor. Next, what is happening, many of the things are being produced or are coming from the different regions, but the fruits of that resource is being enjoyed by the Punjabis. If we talk about POK, then major production of electricity is coming from Pakistan occupied Kashmir. Hydroelectricity is coming from there, as well as for the establishment of power plants and the other things, the land of the POK people have been acquired. And still what is happening, the POK people are getting electricity for only 6 to 7 hours. Load shedding is around 15 to 16 hours, and the fruits of this electricity production are being enjoyed by the people of Punjab, right? Next, if we talk about Balochistan, then Balochistan region is a mineral rich region, as well as major investment is coming in Balochistan through the CPEC project. But the fruits of that investment, the benefits of that investment, it's not coming to the Balochistani people, as well as the mineral resources are being also extracted from Balochistan, but the benefits are going to the Punjabis. Same is the situation with Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, where the gemstones are found, which are being used as the rings and the other ornamental things. So that comes from KPK, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, as well as minerals like potash, manganese, etc. are also coming from Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. But again, the benefits is going to Punjabis, and these are the regions causing the discontent among the people, and this kind of discontent has caused the disintegration of many great nations. And some of the examples of the history of the recent past are here, like USSR disintegrated in 1991 because of the same factors, that is economic crisis, regional imbalances and the other things, dominance of the Russian people. So for that matter, in 1991, Russia, USSR disintegrated into 13 nation states. Thereafter, Yugoslavia, its disintegration was a long drawn process. It started in 1991, Serbia, Slovakia, Montenegro. So likewise, these kind of the nations came into existence, and in total it disintegrated into 7 states. Thereafter, South Africa, due to the apartheid and the other things, it disintegrated into 2 states, South Africa and Namibia. Namibia had played the World Cup also in 2003, right? And thereafter, the last one, that is in 2011, this was Sudan, which disintegrated into Sudan and South Sudan. South Sudan is the major producer of the crude oil, but the fruits were being enjoyed by the people of Sudan, or the northern regions or the coastal regions. So that was the situation. So these kind of things are the perfect ingredients for the disintegration of Pakistan, for the unrest that is going on in Pakistan. And the flashpoint is going to be the revolt that has erupted in Pakistan occupied Kashmir. The people have revolted. They are saying that armed forces go back. तुम बाहर जाओ. The armed forces personals are being thrown down from the hills. They are being beaten by the sleepers. Now the POK people are not afraid of the bullets or whatever the atrocities that the armed forces or the Pakistani police is going to do. They are just rebelliating, and they are giving back to the armies, Pakistani army and the police force, what they had given to them since last 70 years. Pakistani police commissioner was beaten by the people dragging out of his office. So that is the situation. Now the armed forces and the police personnel are fighting to save their own personnel. So that is the situation, and if once the people have rebelliated, then nobody can control him. So that is the situation. And here same will happen. If this is the situation, then the aspirations of the people of other region will also be there, that will come to foray. So same thing will happen in Balochistan. Next, Afghanistan is claiming KPK because of their ethnicity relationship. Their same ethnicity is there. The people of that region are Pathans, KPK regions. So they have more close relationship and allegiance to Pakistan, Afghanistan. And as well as what is happening, Afghanistan is saying that we do not consider Durand Line as an international border, because that was drawn by that very times king and the British rulers, which is not logical, which that was forcefully imposed on the Afghanistani people by the British rulers, and we don't respect it. And that is the reason why they are claiming Khyber regions of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and if the revolt will erupt, then definitely they will be supported by the people of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, will be supported by Afghanistan, and Afghanistan will take the advantage. Next is Sindhi region. So again, as we have seen that the Sindhi people are not getting the due representation in the government jobs, in the armed forces and the other things, although one of the major part of the agricultural produce is coming from Sindh. Karachi port is in Sindh, and in spite of such kind of things, in spite of being a resourceful region, they are being ignored, and this is going to be one of the major reason for disintegration of Pakistan. And as you see, this is part of India that will come very soon back to India, and the rest of the Pakistan will get divided, will get splintered off in 5 different regions, which is Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Balochistan, POK, that will ultimately become J&K, right? Thereafter Punjab and Sindh. And this region, the people of this region are the major factor, the major culprit behind such situation, such lamentable situation of Pakistan at present time. And still they are not realizing their historical mistake what they had committed in 1971, and they are repeating it again and again and again and again. The result or the outcome will be same till the time the only Pakistan region will be left behind, right? So that is the situation. And here nonetheless, these are the books that are being published, that are available on Amazon, on our website, in the book shops also. So here there is set of 20 books of Hindi medium UPSC, that is subject wise, topic wise, in detailed compilation of the study material of UPSC. Thereafter the same is available in English medium also for UPSC civil services, as well as the English medium JPSC books. This is also available on Amazon, in the book shops, particularly in the region of Bihar and Jharkhand. And this is also going to be very helpful for those students who are willing to prepare for the state PCS service of Jharkhand Public Service Commission, and they are willing to prepare their exam in English medium and write their exam in English medium. So this is going to be very helpful. So if you watch the video till the end, then thank you very much. As well as I would like to request you to like the video, share the video, subscribe the channel, press the bell icon, so that you can get notified whenever we upload new videos, whenever we come up with some new research things, as well as visit our website, that is computerlogy.com. There you will find various courses and the other things. So here we finish off. Thank you very much and stay connected.